Hey everybody, welcome on in to Northwoods TCG. Good evening everyone, and hopefully you guys have all had a fantastic week here as we are getting started. Once again, greatly appreciate everybody joining on in. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe if you're just coming in tonight as well. Greatly appreciate it. We got a new camera, so I hope that this improves a little bit on the quality as well for you guys joining me here tonight. But thank you guys for joining. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on in 2026, what kind of predictions I have for the Pokemon market and in the investment side of the Pokemon TCG going into 2026 and through 2026. Of course, beginning of the year, it's time to sit here and talk about what we think is going to happen, why we're going to think that's going to happen that way, and what does that mean for your Pokemon investments and the overall performance in the Pokemon market. Now, once again, these are only my opinions. I'm going to give you the reasons on why I think that, and I'm going to break it down throughout the year to discuss that part, but I am definitely not the only person in the world, and I am not always right. So these are just things that I want to put out there and kind of discuss when we're talking about Pokemon investments and how to maybe properly set yourself up for the year. The other thing is, too, that we're going to put in the live here in the first 20 minutes is going to be 5 Pokemon investments that I think we should be watching through the remainder of 2026. And we'll have that discussion as well as we're moving forward. And once again, anybody who joins in during the live, if you guys want to put in your discussion pieces, if you want to put in counters or want to talk about some of these things, do it in the first 20 minutes, and then we will come back at the end and go back after we're done with the rant at the beginning or the discussion at the beginning and go over them, because maybe somebody's got some good points that are good to have a counter and a good productive criticism or conversation on my point of view. I'm not perfect. I am never perfect, but I give you the best analysis I can in the market to try and help you out with your investments going into 2026. So let's get after it. The first quarter of 2026, I truly do believe that there's going to be an increase in the Pokemon TCG. Once again, lack of product, lack of print, not getting anything from distribution, stores drying up, and still the overall demand for the Pokemon TCG has continued to date. And I do not see that changing here anywhere time soon. I think that we're going to lose some of the scalpers, some of the people for the quick tendies, but I think in general that that's going to be short-lived as well, due to the fact that we just are not getting production. And if we don't get production of products, that's going to be an overall factor to the performance in the actual Pokemon TCG. The other thing is, too, is that we got to be looking at in the first quarter is that people are going to continue to be coming in with the 30th anniversary. Another big addition to the Pokemon TCG in 2026 is going to be a 30th anniversary, and that's really going to be part of the discussion through most of these parts as well. The other factor is, too, is if we go back in the last few years, once again, we have no real booster box reprints. Surging Sparks got a little bit of a booster box reprint, but we have not seen any other sets. And even the Surging Sparks one, I don't know if that was actually a reprint or just a restock. They found some product and they put it out there. But we did have access to booster boxes as a secondary time for Surging Sparks. But overall, don't think it's going to happen. The other thing is, too, that it seems like they're being very picky on what sets they are actually doing, even ETB reprints at this time. Really haven't seen any of, like, Temporal Forces. We really haven't seen any of Paradox Rift. We haven't seen any of Stellar Crown, Journey Together, or Destin's Rivals to date. Granted, we could still see Journey Together, Destin's Rivals. It's not quite to the time frame, getting into the time frame where we started seeing them for Surging Sparks. So we should be seeing those coming up in the near future if they're going to happen. When we're going into the second quarter of the year, the other thing is going to be really driving is going to be a 30th anniversary at this point. The kickoff is going to happen in February, towards the middle of the first quarter. It's going to really start driving speculations and hype and FOMO as we get closer to the dates of the release of the products. We do know we're getting a release of a few products early, but in general, we do see that coming back in the future as we continue to grow into the year. In October, we usually get the main release in the English set. So how they're going to release this year is going to get more announcements as we get further into the year. What we're going to see is definitely going to be a factor for what the hype and FOMO is going to be. And once again, the production factor is going to be interesting as well. Going into the third quarter is where it's going to get kind of interesting. We're going to know what we're going to be getting for the 30th anniversary by that point in time. Probably everything's going to be laid out. We're going to have a full direction of these things, and we're really going to get a feel for it. The 30th anniversary is definitely going to be the driving factor for this year in 2026. Overall production, meeting a demand, how much of that product they produce. Are we looking at a celebrations level, a generations level? Are they going to limit the amount of print like they did in celebrations? Are all going to come together to really make a decision on whether or not it's going to perform well going into the third quarter and the pricing of some of these products as we are moving forward. And it comes down to also, when does Pokemon get the print facility up? I believe that this is going to happen sometime in the third quarter. They now rented or bought 1 million square feet of printing space. By the time they fill that, get it all up, get everything running, get everything tied in, and get things actually producing, I feel like you might have a 5 to 6 month period before that occurs. In this quarter is when I can see some turbulation potentially happening in the Pokemon TCG. This is where we might actually start to see production ramp up, where we might start to see more product. Are they going to focus on Celebrations 2.0, whatever they're calling it now, 30th anniversary here, or are they going to focus on more things such as like sports cars and things? Is that why they're doing this facility? We don't know for sure what this facility is for and why they're doing it. We just know that the facts is that they have 1 million square feet that they're adding in for production. And if it's going to come into line, it's going to be at this point in time. Now, this is where we might see a drop in the market, a change in the market because of the fact that more product may become available. What product will become available is going to be the real question at this point in time. Are we going to see sets like Destin's Rivals, Black and White, Journey Together, going back to Surging Sparks, or even Stellar Crown? Because they're all in that time frame, that 2-year time frame of what we might be seeing. And is that going to be a factor for the overall performance in the market? Is that going to be enough to change the hype and FOMO for the 30th anniversary set? I think you might see a stagnation at that point again, depending on how people feel. If they feel worried that there's going to be a lot of product or not a lot of product, that's really going to be the factors at this point in time. And this is where potentially your investments may shift. So the first 2 quarters, I forgot to talk about this. Investment-wise, I don't think that there's going to be really good times for investment unless you can get stuff under MSRP or at MSRP. So if you can find stuff, if you're a small-time investor at your local Walmarts, Targets, LGSs, and things like that, this is going to be your opportunity. If you're going to be spending more money or going to top market value at that time, I really don't think that there's going to be a good reason to do that yet. Until we see what this printing facility is going to lay out for us, investing in the things at that top dollar price is going to be very, very difficult or dangerous, because you're going to potentially put yourself in a position where you may get massive reprints and put yourself out as an opportunity to get in on maybe more and gain more futuristically, or potentially put yourself in a backwards position where you may not be able to get out of it for quite a while. I think the third quarter, as the printing facilities all come online, as these things start to jump up, and as these things start to really kick in, are definitely going to be the time frame when we might be getting some investment opportunities here again. Once again, I am not the type of person that invests into a boom market. If I'm continuing to see prices go up, I will just count my blessings and wait. I've got plenty of time. There's no reason to rush. Putting yourself in the bad position, getting into the hype and FOMO, is definitely going to be an issue for a lot of people and individuals, and trying to keep out of that mentality and making good, smart financial investment decisions in Pokemon TCG are where it's going to be important. Investing into high dollar sets in the current market with the potential of a giant facility add-on for Millennial Print Group is definitely going to be a big concern for myself, and it should be for you when you're talking about Pokemon investment. Continuing on in the third quarter, though, if that facility comes online, which I predict will happen right around this third quarter, or when it does, I think that we're going to be seeing a large influx of product coming in. I think that the Millennial Print Group is probably going to focus partially on the 30th anniversary set, but on top of it, probably going back for some of the products that are really, really high in demand, for especially playable sets or sets that are being used currently by players. They'll probably focus on those first and heaviest, and then they'll move down the line to other products, such as things that were forgotten, such as lack of product in Black and White, lack of product in Destin's Rivals, Journey Together, or even going all the way back to Stellar Crown, possibly Twilight Masquerade. Because we've got to remember, Twilight Masquerade came out, I believe, right around March of 2024. So in March of 2026, it's going to be 2 years old. Typically, Pokemon doesn't go back and reprint at that point in time. They typically stop reprinting at 2 years. Now, there's no set rule that they can't. There's no set rule that says, no, they can't reprint or go back and print that stuff. It's just the tendency of the Pokemon TCG is just not really to go back more than 2 years for their reprints. There's been certain occasions where they have very, very small windows, very, very small, where they've done like Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage were slightly over the 2 year mark. but they made the announcements well before the 2-year mark. So we knew that they were coming before the 2-year mark of those sets. So once again, these are all factors that we got to be looking at, though, on what sets might be in that 2-year block going into the third quarter of 2026. And you're looking at Stellar Crown, you're looking at Surging Sparks, Destin's Rivals, Journey Together, ME1, ME2, Black and White. All of those are going to be in that, including Ascending Heroes and those kind of sets as well, plus any sets that are released from now until then. So these are all going to be questions of how much of that are we going to get, what are the possibilities of that happening, and is that going to be a factor to the overall performance in your investment in 2026. So, last quarter is always a fun one, because we come into the holiday season. I think that November, of course, is going to be hot and heavy. End of October, beginning of November, hot and heavy. People are really going to be looking for those deals, though. So if you're looking to sell, you're going to have to get some deals out there. Number one. Number two, it's also the spending season for the holidays. So we do see really increase in sales overall in the market. The market usually performs fairly well. And that's really also, I'm going to put out there with a grain of salt, how much are we getting from that new printing facility? How much of that printing facility do they have up and running by that point in time? If we have a large amount of that print facility up and running at that point in time, it could be a different story, because we might see saturation of product in the market. We might be seeing some sets releasing again at MSRP or under MSRP on those newer sets, especially if they have the printing capability to increase and drive that market. The other factor is, too, is this is typically the time frame when they will release the English version of the 30th anniversary stuff. Usually October, and people are wondering, what's the significance of October? October of 2028 is when first edition was actually released in the United States. A lot of people associate 1999 with the release of the Pokemon TCG. It was actually October of 1998 that we saw first edition actually appear in the U.S. market. So, even though the big date when Unlimited and all the other stuff came out, it was in 1999, the main release, the first edition, was in 1998, in October of 1998, which is where the significance of that release date is seemed to have been a big focal point for the Pokemon TCG, at least for the last two releases. Generations and Celebrations were both released in October. I would assume that they're not going to break tradition on that, and they are going to continue to stay with that. Now, February is the big date that they pick for the Japanese and kind of the announcements for things, because number one, you have Pokemon Day right there, and number two, that's when it was actually officially made in Japan. So that's a release date for the original was in February during Pokemon Day. So that's kind of the story behind it. And overall, I think that throughout the beginning of the year, especially if you're investing, you're definitely going to want to kind of take your time, relax, and give it some time. I think that third quarter, when that next print facility comes online, is definitely going to be a to be determined. We don't know what's going to happen for sure based on that print facility. It's one of those things that as an investor, it's in the back of my head at all times, is when you start talking about print facilities and we got millions of square feet potentially coming online and starting to come up, that's definitely going to be a concern overall to me when it comes down to the performance of a lot of sets. And getting in on those really high dollar volume amounts right now may not make sense for the future because of the fact that it's doing that. So I would sit back again. If we're seeing some really good pricing on things, once again, you're seeing some pricing going down to like sub 200. If you're seeing getting good deals, definitely don't miss out on them. But be cautious about putting a ton of money into the system right now. Either that, or if you do go into it now, be prepared to have about the same amount of money backing you up on what you put into it for an investment side. Because once again, you can always cost dollar average that down, and you can chase that money down and reduce the cost of the current stock you bought at a higher amount as the price continues to move in that downward direction. Overall, in the hobby, if you do invest high or invest low, it's only opportunity pricing that you're missing and potential opportunity growth. But in the long run of things, I think that all these sets that are currently out there right now are going to do well futuristically. We've seen it historically on the Pokemon TCG that it continues to perform. So to sit there and think that you're going to do bad because you're buying stuff overpriced right now, 5 years down the road, it may be completely inconsequential to you, and you might be absolutely fine. There may be no repercussions to you when it comes down to that actual market. But it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind. As for the market side, if you are in sales, if you've got a small business, if you're looking to turn or roll out some of the product that you've had invested in and you feel like it's maturing and it's not going to go up much more and you want to put it into something new or build up that nest egg and get it ready for when things come up and when print facilities start coming up to full force, then at least start selling out in the first couple quarters, because that's going to give you that money in hand to be able to go and jump in and purchase into some of those investments as we're moving forward. Business-wise, I think that the business is going to do well. I think the first quarter, if we can get product from distribution, me on the business side of things, the market is there, it's stable enough, and we're continuing to see some growth. And the overall growth is being more organic now. We're not getting crazy drives, we're not getting crazy accelerations, but I do overall think that we're going to see some really good performance going into 2026 here. So that's kind of my predictions right now. Now, once again, this is just my speculating, looking at what's happening, looking at some of the risk factors, looking at what we might be looking at for the overall sets that are coming out as well. We have some really good sets coming in the near future. Of course, we do have Perfect Order coming up here that'll be releasing in March. We do know that we're getting like a Ruby Sapphire set here in 2026. And those kind of sets have kind of been released at this point, kind of secret, drops that have been getting leaked that we know are coming. And so far, they are sitting into some succession of that as well. So overall, good time to get into it. Have some fun if you want to be getting into the market. It's going to be pretty tough if you're looking at the investment side. If you're looking at the buying in, if you have patience, you can wait it out and see what happens. But if you want to enjoy the market, you're just going to have to enjoy the market as is, month by month, day by day, and making those decisions for that point. Overall, I think that's where we're going to be seeing things. I'm guessing, once again, I'm just looking at data I have, information that's here coming. It's all speculatory. This is just my feelings, and this is what I'm looking at when I'm breaking it down for my expectations for 2026. I'm giving them to you guys, and once again, if you guys got some counterpoints or some discussions that you like to have in the chat, definitely put them out there for what I've said. We can definitely talk about some counterpoints and definitely have those discussions when you're talking about what's going to happen in 2026. Now, last part that I said that I was going to give you going into 2026, the investments, the 5 investments that I'm going to be watching very heavily in 2026 as we're going further and further into it are going to be the following. And these are not in a specific order. I'm not ranking them best to worst, nothing like that. These are just the investments that I've written down that I'm really, really watching and have been continuing to watch since they've been kind of released or that I know that they're coming. Number 1 is going to be Destin's Rivals. I think Destin's Rivals booster boxes, with the lack of booster box reprints and with the market downturn and kind of going up again, I think right now is not a bad time necessarily to buy into Destin's Rivals. If they do a reprint of Destin's Rivals or a reprint of anything at this point in time, it seems to be more on the big box store driven products such as sleeve blisters, ETBs, or even collection boxes. I think we may see more of that product coming out for Destin's Rivals, but I don't think that we're going to be seeing very many booster boxes coming back of Destin's Rivals. So Destin's Rivals booster boxes are definitely high on my radar right now after the cooldown. How they perform through that cooldown and where they are currently are definitely a good sign for me on that they're going to continue to move in that upward direction. Next one I'm going to talk about is Mega Dream. Mega Dream, I'm leaving it as a pin in right now. But I feel like Mega Dream is going to either A, do extremely well due to the lack of print, or B, people are going to lose interest in it very early, and they're not going to have interest in it after Perfect Order comes out or the next set after that when its product's being released, which means there may be a good opportunity to get some investment on it, and there may be a good opportunity that Pokemon may not go back and reprint very much of it due to that fact. And that's why I kind of put that one as a potentially good investment here coming into 2026, knowing sets that are coming. Now, we're going to have more sets coming in 2026, and we can have that talk as they're releasing. But I do definitely think that we are going to have a really good opportunity for all of these things that are currently going on and to see more products and more sets and maybe good investment potentials also. But these are ones we know, these are ones we have up in front, and these are ones that we can kind of make conclusions on currently in the market. Next one, 30th anniversary. We know 30th anniversary is coming. I think any of the 30th anniversary stuff that you can pick up at MSRP or less, win. If you can pick it up at Walmart, at your LGSs, at online stores, at Pokemon Center, definitely don't miss out on that stuff. Get on it, get in on it, and definitely go after it and get on it. Because I think that in the next year, 2, 3 years down the road, based on the limited production rates they've done for Generations and Celebrations, I think they're going to continue that trend. And that's going to give you a good leg up for some really good investment opportunities. Look at the performance of Celebrations. Look at the performance of Generations. Both have done extremely well for any of the products you can get. Even at MSRP, a year or two later, you are in really good positioning with that. and take advantage of that. I think that with an anniversary set, it's definitely going to be the highlight investment for the 2026 year. And I'm no different. I'm probably right in line with most people saying that right now. Next thing I'm going to put on here is going to be continued on this list, and it's going to be a big investment. I'm going to continue. It's been for a year, and it's going to continue to be this year. It's going to be the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, guys. Anybody that's not investing into those and trying to get as many as they can from Pokemon Center right now and putting them away as an investment is making a mistake. You look at the performance of every one of them, they have done extremely well. We have had some restocks of them, but the amount of product actually reprinted of any of the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes has been none. So overall, I think that this is a really good set. Some people would argue that Stellar Crown got a reprint. I think it was a restock. It didn't make sense. It's the only one that they've done it with, and I don't think that there was any reason behind it besides they found some, maybe some canceled orders, some retracted orders, some non-payments, things like that that do occur. I think that they just put them products back out there on the shelf, and then they got purchased out, which of course caused a little bit of a drop in the market. But overall, even now, I looked at Stellar Crown, and it's doing good again as well. So even though it had a little bit of a drop, it still recovered. It's going in the upward direction. All Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes do the exact same thing, and they're all in the upward track. All of them stay in almost a straight upward track, and they all do really, really well in a year or two down the road. So definitely something that you should really be considering as an investment opportunity and continuing to work on that part when it comes down to the investment side. Last one I'm going to put up here is going to be Black and White. Now, Black and White, I'm not a big fan of the set in general, but, and Mason kind of pushed that a little bit more today. I was on Mason's Live here a little bit earlier, and I already had this list drawn up, but I did want to use some of his reasoning as well. Number one reasoning is that the demand on that set is actually not as high as people really think. The reason the demand was high is because the market was hot. Right now, Black and White does not sell very good, and it's kind of stagnated in price right now. There's been no real movement in it. ETBs have been like $82 for a couple months now. The mini tins really haven't moved in value. Any of the Techno stickers or anything like that, nothing's moving in value. Everything's kind of just locked on that set. And even when you go to the pricing of like all the cards in them, go take a look. Pokedata.io, once again, nothing is really moving in all of those sets right now at this point in time, which are definitely going to be a factor for why they would reprint it and why they wouldn't. The other factor is that Mason threw in afterwards, and I kind of agree with as well, is that Black and White is a very interesting aspect because they can't just print one, or they can't print one. They have to print both, and they have to print individual products for each one. They have to print individual ETBs, individual sleeves, individual counters, individual tins, or boxes. All of these things were individualized so much by the set that overall that kind of puts a kink into them being able to reprint large quantities of it. Now, not saying that they can't, but it just makes it so it's not as big of a draw for Pokemon to go and reprint that set versus a set like Stellar Crown or Twilight Masquerade or Surging Sparks, Journey Together, or of course, Destin's Rivals. All of those are more appealing for reprint compared to Black and White. And with the demand currently where it's at on the set, there's really no push to go in and do the reprint on that either. So those are really big factors to why I think Black and White, I would watch it. Take your time. It's not even a year old yet. So when we get closer to that year mark, maybe take a look at it and we'll take an analysis on it. I'll do a video on an analysis on it. And we'll really make a big decision on that, whether or not we've seen movement or not, whether or not we think there's going to be reprints of it, and then make a really good call. But I think that that's one of the bigger ones on my top investments right now are going to be Black and White products, such as Black and White ETBs, especially the ETBs are going to be like in my focus right now coming into 2026. Watching how they perform, watching for those reprints. If no reprints happen, definitely being prepared to jump in on some of those. So those are kind of my predictions for 2026. That's what I think we're going to be seeing throughout the year. And number two, the other predictions are what I think are going to be really good investments going into 2026. Will that hold up? We'll do this time. I didn't do a prediction video in 2025, sadly. I just decided the market was too stupid and crazy to sit there and try and do a video on it because of the way that it had exploded and things like that. But I definitely wanted to do one here in 2026 with things changing. So in 2027, we will do a review of that. Maybe watch the video or watch this live, pull it into the next live, and then go through whether or not that was correct or not. Do an overview. Have my face like over here or over here of me, just recounting what was said here. So other than that, hopefully that was some good information. Hopefully it gives you kind of a feel for what I think is going to happen in 2026. Gives you kind of a background for why I think that way and what I think is going to happen in those regards. Do I think the 30th anniversary could pull through some major reprints? Yes, as we get closer to October, the 30th anniversary in that fourth quarter, end of third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter, that hype and FOMO of the 30th anniversary being released could really drive prices through even major restocks at that point in time. We might be able to push through the printing situation if it increases in that third quarter with a really good, well done 30th anniversary set. That's the big key too, is what we're getting, what we're going to see in it, and how that's going to perform are definitely going to be important to how it performs and how it changes this market going into the end of 2026. But I'm I think the market's going to be very bullish through the beginning of the year, at least the first two quarters. And am I investing heavy? No, I'm using the market for selling right now. It's definitely going to be a more seller's market than a buyer's market on the investment side. But if you're looking at it for a business side, it's going to be really good if you can get some products at decent prices. And they'll move fairly quickly, continuing to move into the end of, or the beginning of 2026. So we're going to go back to the chat. Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you, guys. Blitzkrieg, thank you so much for being in here. Jacob, thank you for being here as well. Pika Pika, how you doing, bud? Hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see you. Snowgoon, been a while. Welcome on in, bud. Thank you so much for being in here tonight. Greatly appreciated. Just going to go through the live, see if I'm missing anybody else. I think that was all the people I'd seen into the stream thus far. So let's go back to the beginning. Umbi promos going up. Starfighting Kids. Good night, goodbye booster box reprints. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing any of those, guys. It hasn't happened realistically, it has not happened since the end of Sword and Shield. And I really don't think that we're going to see the booster box reprints coming in, and for good reason. If you really look at the Pokemon TCG and why that would be, the biggest reason is going to be is distribution parts. Booster boxes really go to LGSs. They're distributed to LGSs, and they're kind of restrictive to where they go and who can use them. An ETB is not restrictive. A 6-pack bundle is not restrictive. A 3-pack blister is not restrictive. Sleeve blisters are not restrictive to where they're sold. They're sold everywhere. And that's a big factor to why Pokemon seems to be really focusing on reprinting things that can go everywhere rather than focusing on things that have a one-place application or a minimalized application. So I think that this is going to be a continued issue, a continued thing. It's been that way since Sword and Shield. It's gone through Scarlet and Violet like that. It's kind of continuing in. We'll see what happens with Mega and Phantasmal Flames. Both of them got a second wave, but once again, that's the first release second wave. So we don't know if they're going to get any real reprints. People call them reprints. It's a printed wave. I mean, it's a scheduled release for that product, and we knew it was going to be done that way. They split our allocations as well accordingly. So a lot of people calling it a reprint really isn't, because we just got the rest of our normal allocations by doing it. So once again, not really a reprint if you're just giving the allocations. You're just splitting the print run. Let's go, Pika Pika. Glad to see you in here. We trying to get Annie to wear a full Snorlax. Really, Blitz? Not a chance. Not a chance, bud. Good luck. How about this? If by the end of 2026, I'll put this on the table right now, Blitz, so it's going to give you guys all incentive in the chats if you want to see this. If we can get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, I will 100% wear a Snorlax suit for you. I'm going to set that bar really high. I was going to say 10. I'm going to go 15, guy. You want me in a Snorlax suit? I will wear it to a Collecticon if you can get me to 15,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. And you can count this. You can go through this. You can put this down. It's a bet. There we go. Blitzkrieg, it's a bet. We'll shake on it right now. I will wear a full Snorlax costume to a Collecticon if you can get next year, or 2027 Collecticon, if you can get me up to 15,000 subscribers by the end of 2026. So let's go, guys. Let's do it. You want to see me in a full Snorlax suit? Let's do it. I might regret that. I might absolutely regret that, but it'd be absolutely worried. Anton TCG even said he is getting 20% less of Perfect Order booster boxes. I don't know how he knows that, because we haven't gotten allocations yet for Perfect Order. So I don't know how he's getting that number. We honestly, I think you can still even pre-order right now at this point in time. Let me check and see. I know Southern Hobby. Can I still pre-order? Let's see. So pre-order. So pre-order is still open. So he doesn't know allocations. He's full of shit. I'll tell you that right now. If anybody's saying that they're getting less product right now, they're full of shit. They don't know, because we don't know. We're still, pre-orders on Southern Hobby will be open until the 25th. So, and then when we do pre-orders at the 25th, we usually wait a month. So we won't know allocations till probably mid-February, end of February for a March release. So I don't know where he's getting 20% less. We're getting nothing for what you call it. The next set coming up, Ascended Heroes. We know we're not getting anything for that. Everybody's crying about that. But yeah, like I said, he doesn't know. He has no idea. Because right now I could still go put in more pre-orders in for Perfect Order right now. It's up until the 25th on Southern Hobby. Let me see. Let me pull up ACD. ACD. Let me see. ACD. And if you want to know, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to know, Southern Hobby is not locked for when you can see what's up for order and the deadlines for those orders, just so you guys are aware. If you want to know when the deadline is for these things to double check someone's words, you can honestly go right on to Southern Hobbies right now, and it'll give you a green bar that tells you that we're still pre-ordering at this point in time. It won't give you pricing unless you have an account, but you can go in there and see what's still available, and when the marks close, that's when they've actually filled. So as of right now, we still have quite a few days to be able to get those pre-orders in. So no, he doesn't know allocation. He has no idea. If he's saying that, I don't know how I don't know what distribution's telling him that, because I don't even think they have numbers or allocations for them at this point in time. Pika Pika, I hope the 30th anniversary will be a crazy product dump and hype and super hype to get people back into the hobby. I hope so too. I really hope for a really strong set. A really strong set for this next celebration set, for the 30th anniversary set, because I think that Celebrations is kind of bland. I want to see something more like Generations. A more original set using some of the generational Pokemon would be good. But I want to see something original, not using old base set Charizard, Blastoise, all these old reprinted cards with a Pikachu head on them. Because they're always going to be hindered by the fact that the originals are there and almost the same price. So why would you pay more for the new one when you can get the old one for less? I mean, they're always hampered that way. Generations, I think, will do fantastic futuristically, and I think a good 30th anniversary set that's actually original cards, original prints, original ideas, will definitely go a lot further in this market. And that's my feelings. I don't like reprint sets. I've never liked reprint sets. The only reprint set that I've ever enjoyed, honestly, has been, God darn it, I had it, now I lost it. One of the sparkly things, Legendary Collections, that's the one. Legendary Collections is the only one I liked, and I didn't like it because of the reprint. I liked it because of the reverse arts inside of it. So it wasn't that I liked the reprint set. I liked the reverse hollows inside of that particular set. This year will be a disaster with allocations. It seems like it so far, but printers coming online may really change that at this point in time. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. Blitzkrieg, allocations have been bad for Ascended Heroes. We'll see what it looks like for Perfect Order right now coming forward. But with the lack of product, again, everybody's fighting for product. All LGSs are fighting for product. All online streamers are fighting for product. All online stores are fighting for product right now. So yes, allocations could continue to be an issue just because lack of me being able to go buy older product still is going to make a factor for why I'm buying the newest sets and at a high volume, is just because of the fact that I can't get older sets. I can't go right now and buy sleeve blisters of, Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade, or Stellar Crown like I could back in 2020, early 2024 and 2023. That's just not an option when we're looking at these sets, and that's definitely going to be a factor for why that continues to see allocations be an issue. So unless they start pumping the backside and give us something else to purchase, all LGSs and stores are trying to get max amount to put up front to try and cover our bills. I mean, fact of the matter is, we got to cover bills, and the only options we get to buy those allocations, unless we start scalping stores ourselves, is to go and actually purchase them through our LGSs. And of course, we're going to put high allocations trying to get what we can. Pika Pika, then they should pump Celebrations and Generations. They're going to, the market's going to try and pump those ones. We're already hearing it right now. everybody's pushing generation or celebrations at this point in time, and they're really, really bringing it up a lot. You're hearing a lot about celebrations right now on investment channels. It's not a time to sell your celebrations. It's not a time to buy more celebrations. It's time to go search it right now. There's 50 videos out there right now about whether or not it's time to go buy Celebrations ETBs, even though they're stupid expensive. It's not a time to go buy the Celebrations UPC. It's not a time to go. I'm seeing it continuously right now at this point in time, and that's going to be a continued question. And I think that Celebrations and Generations are both going to move up again here. Another anniversary set seems to help the previous ones. Let's see. Finally caught alive. Welcome on in, Snowgoon. Glad to see you here. If you Generations, bro. Yeah. Hopefully they are printing 30th anniversary stuff right now. I hope so. They should be starting here fairly quick. I'm assuming that in February they'll probably start printing fairly decently at that point in time. The reason why I think that is because they're going to release a lot of information at that point. So come Pokemon Day in February, we're going to be seeing a lot of information dump when it comes to the next 30th anniversary set. Probably get the name at that point in time. We're probably going to get a product lineup. We're probably going to get some leaks of the sets and cards that are going to be in the sets where they're designing at this point in time. And I would think by March and April, probably April, they'll be in full production for the 30th, doing an October release. This is all speculatory once again. I'm speculating that the reasoning on why they pick those specific dates and why they do those things, why they pick October and why they pick February for Japan's release is strictly based on the fact of the releases in the U.S. market and the original release of the Pokemon TCG. They could change that. They could say we're going to release all 30th anniversary products in February, for all I know. I mean, I haven't seen any orders for it, so I doubt that in the English market. But we can see it in June, July. I mean, there's no restriction to it. It's just what they've done historically with Generations and Celebrations and the reasoning behind it. So I just don't know if they would go off of that beaten path and change that time frame. Anything with the 30th anniversary on it is going to get scooped up instantly. Yes, it's going to be a fight, just like it was at Celebrations. It's definitely going to be a work to try and get those products from distribution. It's going to be very difficult as well. Blitzkrieg, LOL, I'm keeping my Celebrations sealed up. I am too, I'm just leaving it behind. I have no intention of touching my Celebrations. If you needed fast cash, the next 6 months are probably going to be a great time to cash in on it. It may go past this 30th anniversary date, and once that happens, it may slow down, and we might have some time where Celebrations, Generations may die. The newest 30th anniversary set will start to go up, still continued past the release date, but the other ones may lose interest a little bit at that point in time. Back in 2021, I bought like 20 Zards from Generations for like $6. So hopefully they boom. $6 for from Generations, the 20th or the Generations version of that. What are they at now? I don't even know. So Celebrations, of course, was the base set reprint, but if you go all the way back to Sun and Moon, there it is. So we got the Radiant Collection or Generations. So the Radiant Collection had a Charizard right now. It's $28 currently for that one. I'm trying to remember because there's the one Charizard in there, which is just a holo. And was there one in the other set? That's gonna be the other. That's the one question. I guess I'm not 100% familiar with Generations. I know most of it, but not all of it. So yeah, there is the other one, which is this Charizard EX, which is the regular EX art at that point. And then there was the Mega Charizard right now, which is $164 in that particular set. So there was the Mega Charizard and the regular Charizard. So I don't know which one you bought. I know I bought the ones from the Radiant Collection. So I've got a bunch of those. I actually did a video 4 years ago, I think back in 2022, I did a video on them where they were like $10 at that point in time. And I talked about how good of an investment that could potentially be for you in, a few years for that Radiant Collection. And they've done really well. I mean, I just said right now, they're already up to $25. If you bought them at $10 there in 2022, you've more than doubled your money on them at this point in time. So once again, does really well. Celebration sets do really well at that point in time. Jacob says they have to get those printers going ASAP. It's going to take time. Regardless of what you do, If they just rented the space here, I believe at the end of December, or they announced it here at the beginning of January, so I'm assuming they rented it in December. It's going to take at least 3 to 4 months to get things up and running. I mean, you got to realize the infrastructure that's involved getting those in there, getting the machines, getting them mounted, getting them tested, getting things calibrated, getting all the equipment in place and calibrated and running, and getting the employees to run that stuff is also a big factor when it comes down to these things. Is getting the employees up to date and up to training where you know you can proficiently run the equipment. All of that's going to take time, and it may be 5 to 6 months. My prediction is it's going to take at least 5 months to get that all up and done, where they're going to be putting any significant amount, noticeable or significant amount of product into the market. I could be wrong. The announcement might be pushed back intentionally, and they could be starting the production run next month. I mean, they could have already done all this, and they're ready to put the go button when they put out the announcement that they rented a million square feet of printer space. But we don't know for sure. But my speculation is if they just it's going to take 6 months, 5 to 6 months minimum from the time that they actually start moving into the building, rent the building, get all the printer machines ordered, get everything installed, and get everything going. You're going to have a lag in that before it actually gets up and running. Once it gets up and running, it's really going to be interesting to see what they print, and are they printing sports cards? That was the other conversation that I had with someone is there's nothing that says that this printer space is for Pokemon. That's the factor that a lot of people I don't think are comprehending. They think they just rented a million square feet of space just for Pokemon printing because it's Millennial Print Group. Well, obviously they're printing sports and they're printing other things, so there's no guarantee that that's what they're going to print in that space. They may have done it for sports cards. I mean, we've been having a lot of big hype and uptick in the sports card market as well, so they could be having big contracts for sports cards as well. It's really hard to say at that point in time. Welcome on in, Kino Collectibles. Thank you so much for joining. Let's see. We're going to move down, unfortunately, not till early 2026. 2027, that's where I think we're going to see more of an effect of it. It's 2027. They are building. Okay, I thought they said renting, so I thought it was already built. But they got to build the whole facility. Summer definitely the best time to hit up retail and try to get some stuff at MSRP. Yes. Summer, if you watch my videos, we have a continuing cycle in the Pokemon TCG. The spring is sometimes, right now, January, February can be kind of dead. We've got people paying taxes. Some people have Christmas money. It does fairly well. But then we'll go into March. People get tax returns, and then the money starts to flow again. March, April can be really, really busy. May can still be kind of consistent at that point in time. But June, when summer happens, we really see a drop in sales. June, July, August can be very dry. People are outside. People are camping. People are doing what they want. They're getting out of the house. They're doing that kind of stuff. You'll see a drop in sales at that point in time. And then come October or September, it'll start picking up a little bit as people start drawing in for school. And then by usually the end of October into November, it gets hot and heavy again for the Christmas and holiday season. Plus new releases, all that product coming as well are all factors for that performance in that time frame. So we have a reciprocating cycle. It just happens every single year. And if you're in the sales market long enough, you see it and you know how to predict it and know what's coming for those particular spots. Let me see here. Somehow I jumped here. Okay, just remember, guys, if you can January 30th will be the release of the Poké Day boxes. Yes, so we got Poké Day boxes coming on January 30th. Sorry, January 30th. I was thinking February 30th. Sorry, January 30th is Pokemon Day. That's when you're going to get probably a lot of the announcements for the next anniversary set will come on the 30th as well. Sorry, I was thinking February 20th for some reason. But yeah, you're right. It's January 30th is Pokemon Day. My brain was on the wrong month. Do apologize for that. It's actually going to be January 30th. It's Pokemon Day. So we'll get a lot of announcements for the new anniversary set at that point in time. Let's see. Summer is rough, to be honest, since people can camp out in the... Yeah, exactly. People are outside. People are doing things. Summer is just dead. It really is, and it is what it is. Even me, I have a hard time even sitting down and doing some things, content creation and things like that, because I've got a million things I can do outside where it's nice and warm and I got time, tons of daylight. Why do I want to be in my office sitting here making content and doing that stuff when I can be getting something done outside as well, that in the wintertime I can sit here all winter and really focus on my content? Let's see. Jacob was able to get a lot of targets. People are usually on vacation. Yeah, exactly. People are out of town. Especially now that Walmart is enforcing the limits. Let me know. This is kind of an interesting conversation, and I don't know if it works. I've heard it works. My buddy says that he's tried it and it worked. If anybody's tried it, let me know. They say to go to the self-checkout, and if the products are different priced, so for example, if you buy sleeve blisters, check lane blisters, and 3-pack boosters, as long as the person at the register isn't like, Pokemon Nazi about it, they can actually scan 5 of each one of those items. So they've done 5 ETBs, 5 sleeve blisters, 5 check lane blisters, 5 3-pack blisters, and he said they went through with no problem. They basically, if it's a different price, it will scan through and not go. And different products too. So he was getting 1 piece at the time, and he said he scanned 5 1-piece too. So it's not like it's limiting you to 5 TCG products. It's limiting you to 5 of the same price products in that category. So it's something, if anybody's tried it or hasn't had an opportunity to try it, let me know in the comments. He said it worked. I'm curious to know from another one that that's that way. Let's see. Going down a little bit here. Well, some are not. Yeah, some aren't either. I know some places just aren't dealing with it. You can literally just take all your product and sit there and go 5, pay, 5. I've watched people do that. 5 pay, 5 pay, 5 pay, 5 pay. Some will make them, they'll tag team it. 2 of them will go, and they'll literally go. One will walk out, stand outside the door, and grab bags while the other one's inside checking out. So he just sits there, goes, grabs 5, checks out, drops off, goes, grab 5, check out. I'm always amazed the banks allow them to do it. You think the bank would be like, hey, idiot, why are you charging 100 times at one store? But apparently it lets it do it, and I don't understand how, but once again, it's one of them weird things. Yep, depends on location. The Walmart near me is one that the worst rated in the country. Yeah, and like I said, one of the local ones just lets you sit there. You can bring 30, 40, 50, 100 packs, and you can just pay them 5 at a time. Not even leave the register. Just throw them in the same bag. They don't care. They're not there to enforce it, and they really don't care if they enforce it. Let's see. I'm going to be Scrooging it all up. I'll sell my loose celebrations ETBs. There you go. Send them out there. Jacob says, I'm very curious about how low Gen 10 base will go. That's a hard question. That's a really hard question. We could see when we jump into new generation sometimes. It depends on what they offer in it. Typically, base sets are the least amount of product and the least amount of stuff in the set, and then it keeps building from there. Base set is a mechanic change, usually a change in the overall how the TCG operates. So that's going to be a really good question to know how that's going to all perform and what's going to happen when the next base set happens. Historically, we'll see a drop. The price on that will drop pretty significantly. The first 3 sets will struggle at first, and the pricing in general in the market in that time frame will drop. People will tend to stay behind. They'll sit there and say, Kevin Clear was one of them in here that on chats for a long time. He used to say, I will never buy Scarlet and Violet. I'm staying in Sword and Shield. I don't want to get out of it. And that's something that may occur. People will just stay behind and not have an interest in moving or changing or going to a different location or changing the new generation. So the performance is really going to be up to what they offer in it. Are illustration rares going to happen? Are there going to be more illustration rares? Are there going to be no rarities that are brought out at that point? And is the set basically built on a mechanism for play, or is it going to be built for collectors as well? Those are all factors to how well the base set will perform. Let's see here. Whoa, come back. LL, thanks for the 50-something sleeves of Destin's Rivals. You're very welcome. Yeah, I still got plenty of Destin's Rivals in the shop too, NorthwoodsTCG.com. If you join us on our lives, we automatically do 10% off on all the product for the lives as well. Just you can buy sealed or rip it that night, whichever one you'd like to do. So you can do either or. It's up to you. But yeah, both of them are available, and you could do the rip and ship, or you could do just send a shield. There's a link that you can click for doing that. Sorry about that. That light is... I gotta go put that new light in there because it's just like been slowly getting brighter all the time. I gotta get that new dimmer switch in there to control this light in front of me because now I feel like I'm like under a spotlight, like burning now. Oh, let's see here. Yep, I snagged up perfect order Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. I missed them. So I'm going to have to go on the open market, try and get one for my collection. So that's one that I'm going to have to try and get. I'm not really excited about it, but it is what it is. Well, we got a few people in here as well. Something that I'm going to find out more information about it tomorrow. I'm working with someone that I know in manufacturing to potentially bring out some of those acrylic boxes, but made by me. So they'll be produced by myself and this company that I know that does manufacturing. We're looking at, first thing, getting out the booster boxes, 6-pack bundles. We're looking at getting out the ETBs and also UPCs for both the regular UPCs like the Celebrations, 151, Charizard, the Charizard X1, and then also the ones for these Moltres and Greninja boxes as well. So there'll be 2 styles for that part. So once again, those are one of the things that we're working for on this, and this is one of the ideas or one of the options that we're going to be working with manufacturing to be able to produce. I'm trying to produce them at a lot more reasonable rate than what I've seen out there. To me, even 1920. I talked to the guy already on the phone. We kind of looked at the pricing and sizing and things like that, and we feel like we could produce them pretty consistently right around where we could sell them around $15, possibly lower than that. So we're going to go tomorrow, run out some numbers, figure out what our production rates would have to be, and then look at what we can do. And he's willing to work with me on that as well. So if you're looking for, I have them out in the truck. I don't have them with me. He has the cases with me. But if you're looking for those acrylic cases with the magnets and stuff on them, the heavy-duty magnets, definitely stay tuned. And it's something that we'll be pushing more on that as we're going forward as well. I just wanted to put that out there while we had quite a few people in here. And as you can see, my camera follows me, so I like to move, and now my camera moves with me, which is kind of nice. So, yeah, I went all out on this 4K camera to really try and improve the quality of the videos. One of the things I'm really working on this year is to really get some quality improvements here on the channel. Next thing, I think I'm going to get a better mic here. I want to get more of a shotgun mic instead of the Yeti mic, so stay tuned for that too. We might be getting that improved as well. Pika, I haven't bought anything in the last year other than Pokemon Center. Been keeping it easy and focusing on home improvements and my main job instead. Labor cost is crazy, so I'm doing most myself. Yes, and that's a really good way to look at it. This last year, I haven't done much for investment either. I've said that. I don't have much for investment videos. Most of my videos are talking about anti-investment just because when you're in a boom market, we don't know where the ceiling's going to be, and you don't know when the crash is coming. Overall, for me, the pricing has been too rich for my blood out the gate, and there really hasn't been good buying opportunities and even distribution for me. Typically, I would buy extra from distribution and put it away from investment, and I can't even do that right now. I can't even get product to keep my store running, let alone be focusing on the investment side of the Pokemon TCG. So, once again, I'm hoping to see some investments coming up here in 2026. I think if that print facility gets up and they print Pokemon, that we will be seeing that particular upgrade, that particular jump, where we might be able to get back into some investments at that point in time, especially of the last 2-year sets at that point, wherever that is. So I'm hoping to get some opportunities here to jump in. If you are looking for an investment, though, and we're getting past the 2-year mark on some of those sets, I would feel more comfortable buying into them. Twilight Masquerade, even Temporal Forces now. Temporal Forces, I believe, will be 2 years old here in February, end of February, beginning of March. Twilight Masquerade will be in April, I think it's May. April or May, right around that time frame is the 2-year for that as well. Close, I don't know exact dates on those ones, but that's where you're going to be looking at for when we're going to be close to that 2-year mark on those sets. No guarantee, but that's just the history of the Pokemon TCG. Yeah, don't even sweat it, Pika. I'm down to 4 Black Bolt TTBs, regular, not Pokemon Center ones. I'm definitely shocked the bull run has lasted over a year. The legs are strong. They are. We saw a little bit of a trip there at the end in November. I think it was just a money strickening. We had too many people buying Christmas gifts. You had too many sets coming. You had too many different products between OP, Magic, you had Pokemon, you had Lorcana, you had all these sets all coming out right there in November with brand new sets, and it really bottlenecked that market down, and I think that that's really going to be a factor for how things are performing on that. Let's see. Bet Starlack outfit is better than the Mankini. Yeah, let's not do a Mankini. No, you don't want to see that. Challenge accepted. So there you go, guys. The challenge, the gauntlet has been put down. If you want to see me in a Snorlax suit at a Collecticon, you gotta help me get to 15,000K. That's the bet we're putting on the table. That's what we're doing. I will do it. I will 100% follow through with that. My wife will absolutely help and cook my ass at a Collecticon. She will probably find the hottest one and maybe be in North Carolina in a hot, sweaty day in August or July. It'll be freaking awesome. Let's do it. And I will not be sorry about it at all. Crystal Ball, I know, says otherwise. Yeah, once again, the guy's sitting there saying that his allocations are 20% less for Perfect Circle. I'm going to be honest with you. Mason and I will both tell you, and I think anybody that's watched this channel, he's full of shit. I don't even think he has distribution. I doubt he has distribution. My feelings is that he doesn't. I don't know. The things he says do not line up with distribution. So if you listen to people that have distribution and actually work with distribution and you work with distribution yourself, you can kind of catch nuances that they're saying that just don't make sense. And when someone like that talks about allocations when you're still doing pre-orders for the set, how does he have allocations when we just literally got allocations 2 weeks ago for Ascended Heroes? We've all been making videos for the last 2 weeks because we're all pissed off about Ascended Heroes, but we just got that information 2 weeks ago, and the set releases in, a week? 2 weeks? So, I mean, we're less than a week and a half away from the release of Ascended Heroes. We just got our information at the beginning of the month. That tells you the timeline for when we get allocations. So, the set doesn't come out until March 25th. We're still doing pre-orders. I don't know my allocations. Danny Phantom don't know his allocations. Brian at PokeNE don't know his allocations. Mason doesn't know his allocations. How would he know his allocations? I mean, I don't know what distribution he would have that would give him his allocations, but none of us have them. We don't know. We've put in what we want to get. I mean, we've put that in, but we have no idea what we're getting yet. When, for all we know, they could do a massive dump on this set, and we could get everything we ordered, which is going to be double what I'm expecting, which, of course, then the market will crash on it, and we'll all be selling the stuff dirt cheap. But, hey, if I can get it dirt cheap and I get a ton of it, I'd be glad to sell packs under MSRP again. That'd be freaking awesome. A lot of people don't know that because on YouTube, I've never had the opportunity to actually sell packs under MSRP because of how few I've gotten in order to maintain paying the bills and keeping things just going at a normal pace. And I'm still losing money this year, but at least I keep the lights on, keep things moving, continue to make a little profit to buy more things and continue to get different products and do collections. But I used to sell product, actual sleeve blisters, booster packs, all of them under MSRP. All day long. I used to sell sleeve blisters at $4.25 a piece. It's $4.99. I was selling them at $4.25. I would sell, just regular packs for $4 a piece or $3.75 a piece, depending on the set. Check lane blisters were under $5 a piece. I mean, I used to sell everything under MSRP. ETBs. I used to sell ETBs when the market was supposed to be 50. I was selling them at 45 because I was able to get as many as I wanted. Right? You could get as many as you wanted, so you can make up the numbers by quantity. I could sell 5,000 packs and make more money now than what I am selling when I get only 200 packs. Just because of the fact I can't raise the price. If I raise the price up to make the same amount of money that I had, you would never buy my packs. My packs would never sell and I'd be out of business in a week. So, granted, this year, 2025 to 2024, I am down about 38% right now on sales. My overall sales volume is down 38%, and that's just because of the fact I don't have quantity any longer. So hopefully, maybe Perfect Order will print the hell out of it, and we'll get everything we want and more. It'll be everything we want and more, and then I'll be able to actually sell stuff at a reasonable, come down under MSRP. I'd love to. I'd love to be able to do that, and I would do it in a heartbeat if I could get the product. If I were able to get the product, even if the market was $8, guys, if I was able to get the product and as much as I usually got, if I could get 5,000 packs at distribution pricing, the old distribution pricing, and what it was when it was like $2.85 a pack, I'd sell under MSRP all day. I wouldn't care that the market is 8. Who cares? Scalper came in, whatever. It is what it is. But that's just, I would love to get back to that point. I loved volume sales. I love volume rip and ship. I love volume everything versus, I'm more of the person when it comes down to selling and manufacturing and doing that stuff. Volume is king. If I can get a large number of volume out of sales, I would rather have large volume sales than low volume sales at high price. If you look at every statistic chart, you never get ahead on low sale or low quantity sales with high dollar. You will make a lot more money on low dollar, high quantity sales any day of the week. Let's see here. Rip and shippers are going to be begging for product or switch to Magic. Magic they can't get unless they have a brick and mortar, though. Magic Yu-Gi-Oh! You cannot get without a brick and mortar. So they will be not able to go to Magic. The other set that they may be going more to is OP. OP is a little bit more open to streamers at this point in time, and it's really going to depend on how well that market continues as well. So OP14, for example, open to streamers and rippers, but Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are not. You got to have a brick and mortar, and they want pictures of your brick and mortar. So either that, or you're going to have a friend that they're not in that distributor, and show them that you're not that's your store. So unless you got a store owner that's your friend that's willing to say that, yeah, that's your store, not my store type deal, then you're not going to get into those. If streamers are getting them, they have a buddy that's in a brick and mortar. Can tell you that. Like Nostalgianomics, I'm kind of curious how he got them. Like The Last Airbender. I'm wondering if Eli somehow, because Eli has a brick and mortar down in Arizona. I'm wondering, because he works with Eli a lot from Pokemart USA, if he got them from Pokemart USA, and that's because he has the brick and mortar. So once again, it's who you work with and how you work with them. Celebrations pumped early, or Celebrations pumped early, it'll come screaming back. Yeah, Celebrations is already being pumped right now even. So it's definitely it's gonna continue to be pushed all year round. The Celebrations is a big investment. I don't know if it's a big investment. I don't think it would hurt if you bought a couple. If you don't have any, I think overall you'll do all right with it. But once again, it's one of them sets you should have already had. If you've been in this market, if you're new to the market, almost anything is on the table for investment right now, right? If you're an old dog in the market and you've been through here since 2019, 2020, 2021, you know better, right? If you've been here that long, you shouldn't be buying Celebrations now. You should have bought Celebrations then. You shouldn't buy Evolving Skies now. You should already have Evolving Skies. You shouldn't be buying Lost Origin. You should already have Lost Origin. But the train has many stops, right? And you could jump in at any time again if you wanted. If you felt like there's a potential for some really big boom, then you could really get an opportunity as well. So, I mean, there's these things that we could really look at. But, once again, it's really going to just depend on the overall feel of the market. Celebrations, I think, will continue to go up throughout the year. There's going to be some good value in it here as we move forward. Let's see here. Kino Collectible says new printer space for packing. No, new printer space. They're actually increasing their printing facility by 1 million square feet. They'll probably have packing too added onto it. Part of that million is probably going to be packing, and most of it, a good portion is probably in printing. It's probably going to be split just based on the ratios of what they always do. Stogoon, I can't wait to see people camping out of the LGSs for Pokemon Go promo. Yeah, I'm actually going to be running and try and get one too, but my friend runs the LGS, so I'm just going to probably get one. So I'm excited to get it regardless. It's going to be fun. It's going to be nice to get one of those. Kino, limits mean nothing, just loop. Yep, they just keep running a loop. It's per visit, so you can just walk out the door. I see literally there'll be one guy outside with a shopping cart, and there'll be one guy coming in. He'll grab 5, dump them in the cart, go around, grab 5, dump it in the cart, or they'll go every other. His buddy, he'll come, grab the cart, drop his stuff. His buddy will go in, do a loop, drop it. He'll go in, do a loop. His buddy will go in, do a loop. He'll go in, do a loop. It's ridiculous. It's capitalism. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. At the end of the day, it's a capitalist market. Someone has the money to buy the packs and has the money to do it, so be it. Putting limits on things does not make sense to me in a capitalist market. But I understand you want to leave some product behind. But on the other hand, Pokemon needs the print. Once again, I will say that, tell them blue in the face. Pokemon needs the print. If Pokemon printed, scalpers would be gone. This wouldn't be an issue. Things would be available on the shelf. The pricing would go back normal. I'd be able to call distribution, get as much product as I want. All of these things would be the way that it worked. It's just not something that's occurring right now. And once again, Pokemon's the only one that can fix the situation and change it for the better. So call your congressman and tell him to get on to Pokemon International about printing more Pokemon products. So I would suggest getting hold, because we're doing that for everything now. Just get hold of your congressman. Send them an email saying that you really want more Pokemon products. So please do that. It'd be good for them. Give them a good laugh, maybe, if anything. And maybe they'll help out. Who knows? They'll make some law that Pokemon has to print so much, allows so much access to just LGSs. Who knows? Whatever. We can all hope. Snowgoon, just saw an announcement by One Piece card game that they're going to remove the plastic shrink wrap for booster boxes going out to official stores. Not surprising. They do that in Japan already for, the Pokemon products too, Pokemon specialty boxes and things like that. They don't have the wrap, so you buy them at the Pokemon stores there, and they'll cut the wrapper off of it when you buy them. They're trying to reduce scalping, and One Piece is doing what it can to try and slow that stuff down. I'm about to tell the cartel to start smuggling Pokemon. We need a good stash. Start smuggling it in, guys. Let's go. So yeah, overall, guys, we're at the 1 hour mark. Greatly appreciate it for everybody. Hopefully these predictions help you out. Once again, they're all just my opinion based on what I see in the market, what I've seen previously for the years that I've been in the market, and trying to make good decisions on you for what you might be looking forward to here in 2026. Do I see all good things? No, I don't see all good things. Do I see pretty sustainable markets? Yes. The printing facility is my only worry at this point in time. What does that mean for our overall production rates? And what's going to be the availability of products to us as LGSs, as online stores, and rip and shippers? Are we finally going to get access to it in the stores if those print, or at our distribution, if these printers actually come online? And will we see more in the stores too? Once again, number one way to combat scalpers is to simply print product. We've seen it before. They've done it before. They can do it again. They can literally print this into the ground and reset the market and put us back. But sometimes resets are good, and they really do help. They clean out the riffraff, and they create an opportunity for people to just enjoy it, get into it, and actually feel like part of a community again. Lately, it doesn't feel like we're in a community. It feels like we're more in a round and round trap of not getting anything accomplished. So overall, guys, thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you, Pika Pika, for joining in as well. Glad to have you in here. I've always enjoyed having some of the familiar faces, such as Snowgoon. Jensen, I missed you, so sorry about that. Thank you so much, Jensen, for dropping in case you're still here. Didn't even realize you put one comment in, and I just saw it was the Snorlax one. But anyways, greatly appreciate it. Once again, the offer's on the table, the bet's on the table. If you want to get help, see me in a Snorlax costume at Collecticon in 2027, God darn it, get me to 15,000 subscribers. We will do that. And I will put that bet. I'll even do a short on it to see if we can get that done. So, otherwise, guys, thank you everybody for joining. Hopefully, you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Hopefully, the camera was better. Once again, I did put in this new 4K camera. I like it because I like to move when I'm talking, and now it actually centers with me. So, that's kind of nice. It's a nice little feature on this camera with the AI capability on it to do that. So, hopefully it's better. It looks like it's more clear to me. I'll go back and watch this video afterwards as well to just verify that. And other than that, thank you everybody for joining in, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Check out NorthwoodsCCG.com, but if you want some real deals, join us at on Friday and Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time, and you get 10% off just for checking out. I don't even do a code. There's no code to put in. There's no work on your end. All you got to do is go purchase. You get 10% off automatically, and it's site-wide. It's not just Pokemon. It's Dragon Ball Z. It's One Piece. It's all those things. So, but again, take advantage of that if you guys are interested in that. And have some fun when it comes down to the Rip and Chip. If you'd like to join us, of course, do that as well. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.